Probably you are not aware, but right now, at this very moment, the universe is trying to communicate with you. And what's even more shocking, it's been doing this your entire life, but you've been completely missing the signals. In a study of over 3,000 people who reported experiencing profound coincidences, 98% admitted they had ignored similar events for years before finally paying attention. The messages were always there, they just weren't listening. Today, we're exploring how the universe is constantly responding to you through subtle signs, synchronicities, and energetic shifts that most people completely overlook. I'll reveal the three main ways these communications happen, share real examples that will make you question what you've been missing, and give you practical techniques to start recognizing these signals immediately. By the end of this video, you'll never look at random events the same way again. You'll understand why that song keeps playing everywhere you go, why you keep seeing the same numbers, and why that strange feeling you get sometimes isn't just your imagination. Let's first understand why most of us miss these universal signals entirely. Imagine trying to hear a whisper in the middle of Times Square. That's essentially what we're doing every day. Our modern world bombards us with notifications, alerts, advertisements, and endless streams of information. We've become so accustomed to this constant noise that we've lost the ability to detect subtle signals. It's like living next to train tracks. Eventually, you don't even hear the trains anymore. But there's a deeper reason we miss these communications. We've been conditioned to expect dramatic, Hollywood-style signs, burning bushes, booming voices from the sky, or life-altering visions. We want the universe to shake us by the shoulders and scream its message. The reality is much more subtle. As the Tao Te Ching says, nature doesn't shout, it whispers. The universe communicates through gentle nudges, quiet coincidences, and fleeting feelings that are easy to dismiss if you're not paying attention. Think about it. How many times have you had a sudden thought about someone just before they called? How often have you felt drawn to a particular place only to meet exactly the person you needed to connect with? Most people brush these off as random chance. But what if they're not? Ancient mystical traditions across cultures have always understood something modern science is only beginning to recognize. Consciousness and reality are intimately connected in ways our logical minds struggle to comprehend. The Sufis, Islamic mystics known for their profound wisdom, speak of isharat, divine signals embedded in everyday events. They believe the universe is alive with intelligence, constantly guiding us through subtle signs if we develop the heart to perceive them. In Hermeticism, one of the oldest spiritual traditions in the Western world, there's a fundamental principle: as above, so below, as within, so without. This teaching suggests that our inner world and the outer universe mirror each other in perfect correspondence. Every thought, intention, and question creates ripples that the universe responds to. Native American traditions speak of listening to the wind, developing a relationship with nature where messages come through natural phenomena. Indigenous elders could read weather patterns, animal behaviors, and subtle environmental changes as direct communications. What's fascinating is that across these diverse traditions, separated by thousands of miles and years, the same essential understanding emerges. The universe is responsive, intelligent, and in constant dialogue with us. We're not separate observers of reality. We're active participants in a living conversation. Modern quantum physics hints at similar conclusions. The observer effect shows that the very act of observation affects the behavior of subatomic particles. Consciousness and reality appear to be intertwined at the most fundamental level. As physicist Sir James Jeans famously said, the universe begins to look more like a great thought than a great machine. So how exactly does the universe respond to you? Let's explore the three main channels of communication that most people completely miss. First, there are synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that feel too perfect to be random chance. The term was coined by psychiatrist Carl Jung, who noticed these events weren't just statistical oddities but carried personal significance. Have you ever been thinking about a concept and suddenly found references to it everywhere? Or needed information about something specific, only to have a book or article about that exact topic unexpectedly cross your path? These aren't just coincidences, they're answers. One of my viewers shared a powerful example. She was considering moving to Portland but felt uncertain. That same day, she encountered 3 separate people wearing Portland t-shirts, found a magazine open to an article about Portland in her dentist's waiting room, and then received a job offer from a company based in, you guessed it, Portland. The universe wasn't being subtle that day. The second channel is energetic shifts, changes in how you feel in certain environments, around certain people, or when contemplating specific decisions. That unexplainable heaviness or lightness you sometimes feel isn't random, it's information. Your body is an incredible receiver of subtle energies. That's why you can walk into a room and immediately sense tension, even when everyone is smiling. It's why certain places feel instantly comfortable while others make you want to leave immediately. These sensations are the universe communicating through your own energetic system. When you feel inexplicably drawn towards something or repelled by it, that's guidance. The problem is we've been taught to override these instincts with logic, dismissing them as irrational or imaginary. The third channel is patterns and recurrence, seeing the same symbols, numbers, animals, or themes repeatedly in ways that feel meaningful. The universe often emphasizes its message through repetition when we miss it the first time. Those repeating numbers you keep seeing on clocks and license plates, the same type of bird that appears whenever you're making an important decision, the song that plays at pivotal moments in your life. These aren't random. They're part of a pattern language the universe uses to communicate with you personally. Let me share some real-life scenarios you might be experiencing right now without realizing their significance. You're debating whether to pursue a new career path, and suddenly 3 different people mention that exact field in casual conversation within 24 hours. Most people would call this coincidence. In reality, it's confirmation. Or maybe you've been struggling with a difficult decision. During a walk, you find a feather, which reminds you of something your grandmother always said about angels leaving feathers as signs. Later that day, you overhear strangers discussing the exact dilemma you're facing, offering perfect insight for your situation. Coincidence or conversation? Perhaps you keep waking up at exactly 3:33 a.m. for no apparent reason. After the third night, you decide to look up the meaning of this number pattern and discover it relates precisely to a challenge you're currently facing. Random chance or a message trying to get through? These experiences happen to everyone. The difference between those who receive the messages and those who miss them is simply awareness. As poet and mystic William Blake wrote, "If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite." So how can you tune in to these universal responses that you've been missing? Here are 4 simple practices that will dramatically increase your receptivity. First, create pockets of stillness in your day. Even 5 minutes of quiet, where you're not consuming information or producing output, opens your receptive channels. Silence is the canvas on which subtle messages appear. Second, start a synchronicity journal. When something unusual happens or a coincidence catches your attention, write it down without judgment. Over time, you'll begin to see patterns and connections that were invisible before. Third, ask open questions to the universe. Instead of demanding specific answers, try phrases like, "Show me what I need to see," or "Guide me toward my highest good." Then, stay alert for responses, which often come in unexpected ways. Finally, trust your body's wisdom. That gut feeling, that inexplicable knowing, is often your most direct line to universal intelligence. Practice following these subtle prompts on small decisions to build your trust muscle. Remember, the universe doesn't speak English or any other human language. It communicates through frequency, energy, and patterns that resonate with your unique consciousness. Learning to receive these messages is like learning any language. It takes practice, patience, and immersion. Here's something crucial to understand. Ignoring these signals doesn't make them stop. It just means the lessons they're trying to convey will keep repeating, often with increasing intensity. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to face the same challenges over and over? They change jobs, relationships, or locations, but somehow recreate identical situations? That's what happens when we miss the message the universe is trying to deliver. As one ancient teaching puts it, if you don't hear the whisper, you'll feel the push. If you ignore the push, you'll experience the shove. If you resist the shove, you'll meet the brick wall. The universe is infinitely patient but persistently consistent. It will continue sending the same message through different channels until you finally receive it. The question is, how difficult does the lesson need to become before you pay attention? As we wrap up, I want to emphasize something important. This isn't about adopting new beliefs. It's about developing new awareness of what's already happening in your life. You don't need to believe in universal consciousness or mystical forces to benefit from these insights. Simply start noticing patterns, coincidences, and feelings with greater curiosity. Ask yourself, what if this means something? What might it be telling me? The universe doesn't wait for your permission to communicate. It doesn't need your belief or understanding. It only requires your awareness, your willingness to participate in the conversation that's been happening all along. Starting today, pay attention to what repeatedly appears in your awareness. Notice when coincidences cluster around specific themes. Feel the subtle energetic shifts that guide you toward or away from people and situations. Thank you for watching.